Man, there's this sweet little gap right here. I wish I was on a smaller bike. You could jump this on the big bike too, but you'd have to be pretty committed because you don't got very far before you run into that bad boy. That's why I say if you're on a smaller bike, you could just pop off of it, hit the brakes in the air and stop, no problem. But the big girl is going to be a different story. Yeah, anyways, I'm out here on the 950. What's going on? Checking out this bridge that is washed out by myself. So come down through the grass. Nice little rock bridge to connect those two pipes. Thank you, I appreciate it. Nature. Come across here, kind of gonna want to turn as soon as possible because there's a rock right there that's half buried and I don't feel like digging it up, and that bike doesn't turn very sharp. So once you get in the sand, it's not going to want to turn hardly at all. So you're going to want to try to get your turn going as soon as you get on this pipe and try and squeeze this outside, because you're definitely going to be in the sand and it's kind of downhill. There's a camber, off camber turn. So we're going to be going down the hill and trying to cut her back this way because there's a huge hole right there. And I've got this small space right here that has a pretty good line to get me up here and try to position myself facing that way. So I'll be coming up facing this way, try to get her turned facing that way. There's a couple of rocks down here. I'll probably add some more to that because this is a pretty big drop off. Too much for, you know, ground clearance to get me through. And it's not a big deal. Just, you know, it's okay if you scrape just enough to where I'm not really hung up there. Just add a couple rocks to that. Anyways, then come down. There's a pretty good line to squeeze past this, between the water and this wall. Squeeze past here and try and go up there. Probably best line. I don't know, you could either cut it a little bit sharper. You'd be safe from the water. This is like stagnant, nasty water. You'd be safe from the water, but you'd have to turn while going over those rocks and also going up that hill at the same time. Whereas if you went kind of more cut the corner, you'd have a direct line at the hill. But if you fall this way, you're definitely going in the water more than likely. So I think if I stay real close to that first rock, I can kind of meet in the middle where I don't have to turn much. But if it really goes bad, I'll be away from the water. All right. We walk back over there and get the bike and pick you guys up. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so we got a road closed, bridge out for repairs. Let's see if the 950 can float. What's y'all's prediction? Let me know your prediction. The 950s float across washed out bridges. Here we go. We're fixing to find out. Whoops. Okay, now we're fixing to find out. Alright, so we got a pretty good line here. I would like to be over just a bit farther, but I don't think it's gonna work. I guess we'll give it a shot. Because if it did work, that would be nice. Yeah, that ain't too bad. All right, so we're gonna come down here, try to S-turn, go up there. Big drop off on the other side, rocks to climb and get up out of there. If you were coming the other way from here, so with that big drop off, you would want a buddy or two for sure, unless you had a small bike. Then you might be okay, but all right. I got a loose rock right here that my wheel's on, so I don't want it to do something idiotic. So I'm trying to ease off of it. So I've got 2 fingers on the clutch, 1 finger on the brake. I'm using my left foot as stability. Like I said, my front tire is on this wobbly rock. So I'm using my left leg for stability because you want that rear brake to be your friend. Clutch is your friend, and when you're going down hills, oh yeah, we're almost there. This rock is taking forever. All right, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna try to get this big girl turned double ways. I think there's gonna be some lifting involved, but we'll see. Because once you get in this sand, it's just gonna want to push, and there's not going to be any traction on that steel pipe. So give her a little boost. So I'm supposed to be right there, but I'm over here, so I'm turning way wider than I would like to. So this is going to turn into like a 5-10 point turn type scenario. So we're giving her some juice when she needs it, but we're trying to be kind of light on the throttle because you don't want to dig big holes and have to add those to your issues. Okay, so right now what I'm going to try to do is have my bars locked like this. I'm going to try to break traction and push over, twist my hips and push over with my thigh. If I can get that rear end to scoot over faster than it digs down, and we'll be in business without pushing the front tire. Because the back tire's in the sand, the front tire's on the gravel. Not ideal, but we're gonna give her a go. I'm also gonna lean the bike opposite of the direction I wanna go. So basically I'm just trying to get that rear end to kind of lose some weight and scoot over for me. All right, it worked a little bit. So we're kind of in business. We're still up on it with our front tire. So this would have been a whole lot better if I hadn't got pushed so wide in the beginning. But I knew that was a possibility, so we're gonna go with it. Also, stuff like this is definitely what I would like to help people with, kind of, you know, either stuck bike recovery, or, you know, even though I'm not technically stuck exactly where I am, I can move around. Can't really go anywhere. And you see people get in those scenarios, you know, where they get halfway through an obstacle or up a hill or whatever, and then they don't know what to do. Oftentimes they start doing something that's making their life a lot harder than it has to be. So if I could get people to not have to do that, it'd be great. All right, come on, baby, turn a little bit. There we go. So the biggest part of it is almost to just be patient, use some common sense, you know, and don't make it worse for yourself. So I just got, you know, maybe 6 inches over with my front tire. I need another 6 or 8, but you know, you're not going to get it by forcing it. So that's why I was so grateful for saying, all right, come on, baby, let's turn. And then once it turned a little bit, okay, thank you. Now take your turn and move. Don't try to be greedy with it. So here we go again. All right. So now we're getting to where we're high centering on this ledge right here. So what I'm doing is actually pushing the bike up on it to try and get some weight off of the rear wheel so that I can slide that sucker over. Hopefully. I guess I'm gonna have to be in neutral. There we go. Make sure we're not resting on anything important. Come around with her. There we go. And this is where the big bikes get you. If you don't have any momentum, then you know they're just no good. And if you don't have any momentum and it's not going, that means it's going to need human power. So that's where you come in, as getting off and being the mule. But then she's heavy, so what do you do? All right, I think I'm not quite lined up. I'd like for my back tire to be there, but I think if we can get any traction with the front wheel, we'll make that turn. As long as I can. Oh no, keep that from happening. So like right here, for example, my back tire is on the ledge. I'm not even gonna try to go up that. For one, I got a big bike. For two, even if I didn't, that stuff is loose. It's gonna destroy it for the person behind me, and I'm not gonna get up it, so it's just gonna cause me more work. So like I said, be patient, use some sense. Go ahead, back that sucker up. Even though you feel like, oh, I made that forward progress, keep going, keep going. No, you don't want to, you don't want to kill it. So back up, get that momentum, and get up here. And just like that, we're mild engagement on the clutch, mild on the throttle. Go and get it over with doesn't mean smash everything and dig a huge hole and kick up a bunch of roost. Try and get this sucker to scoot over without going forward. But on this gravel, the front tire don't want to have much traction. Alright, so we're going to come all the way to this opposite angle so that I can back up as far as possible and turn over here. That way I can get lined up with these rocks and take that ideal line that I wanted. Okay, now ideally you'd want to be up on the pegs and go off of this, but if you bottom out so hard that it blows your feet off the pegs, there's nothing to catch yourself with. So being by myself, my best bet is to take it easy. Try to touch one of those rocks. Because even if the height is like right at the point to where you may bottom out, then, but once you throw in that momentum, your suspension compresses, it's really going to bottom out. All right, so we're down. We're not on a rock in an ideal situation, but we are down, so I think we'll be okay. All right, so we're going to look ahead, look where we want to go. Clutch control, throttle control, and balance. Boom, just like that. All right, so we're in line. Okay. So I think I'm gonna go a little bit more left than I want. I want to go straight ahead, but if I can just get a little bit on that black mat, then I think that'll give me a slightly better run up. So I'm gonna take it slow, like I said, just because mostly because I'm by myself. So like right here, my bark buster is touching this wall and I'm leaning over to the left. If my balance would have been to the right, then there's no way I can bring it back to the left because I'm already, you know, touching the left. So that's the stuff that I'm talking about, where you want to kind of go for it, but it's just not worth it in these situations. Like I said, mild on the throttle, mild on the clutch. Check where you are, especially on this thing. I can't, you know, can't see your front wheel at all. So alright, so I think I'm where I want to be. I really am having to fight the urge to just stand up and go for it, but by myself on this thing, I'm trying to have a quick little ride this morning. I don't want to make it, you know what I mean? Even though I know I can handle it most likely, there's always that little possibility. So alright, so now we're here. I mean, I'm safe. Even if my bike fell over, I may go in the water, but the bike's not going to go in the water, so we can live with that. So we're going to check what kind of traction do we have, what kind of, you know, big huge thing are we about to run into, look ahead, where I want to go, clutch control, throttle control, balance, and go for it. I'm really going to ease up just one more because of that rock that was in front of my tire, and I want to get a little more square away from that, just because I don't trust this black stuff here. All right, I think we'll be all right. Whoa. All right. So the rear end caught a rock and kicked over towards the water. But like I said, luckily I had that buffer zone to where it was okay. So it gave me a little bit of hesitation, which normally I would like to just power through that kind of stuff, that kind of hesitation. But you know, once you get in that adventure mentality, like, okay, you know, we're far away from anything, you're by yourself, you know, whatever the case may be, you ride different than you would if you were with your buddies and you were just goofing around, and you know, and you're on a smaller bike that's not gonna wreck your day if something happens catastrophic. But yeah, there we go, we crossed it pretty easy. If I was without the vlog, even taking my time like that, I could have done it a little bit better, but I wanted to kind of take my time and see if I can show you guys. We'll see how the footage turns out, but see if I can show you guys, you know, what I'm doing, what's going on. Like I said, I just want to practice that kind of stuff to get better at commentating. I know right now I didn't give any good details, you know, I'm like clutch control, throttle control, blah, 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 but okay, well, what is that? You know what I mean? But I'm mostly trying to get my brain, you know, with that connection of, all right, you know, let's talk our way through this, not just stick your tongue out and look like a weirdo. But yeah, we got to cross that. I got this little straightaway. It's kind of a longer one to go through. We'll cross over the highway, get onto another road that I want to check out, another bridge, see how that one looks. I think that one's going to be worse than this one, so I'll most likely get turned around. But either way, like I said, we'll come down here. It's just this straight kind of simple road like this. Crossed over the highway, and I'll pick you guys back up later.